Do your spending habits reflect your values? What are you funding without thinking about? Would you switch your tools if you didn't agree with the company behind it? And what if part of financial literacy is being intentional about the platforms you support? Some of these questions made you pause and reflect, huh? I know. Well, then you are ready for the conversation we are about to have today. Welcome to the Education Evolution, and you're listening to Tech Evolution. This is a podcast for the thinkers, the doers, and for those who know the most important lessons aren't always learned in school. I'm glad you're here. This is the right place for you to be right now. We're still talking financial literacy in this month of April, but we're discussing it from a new angle because financial literacy isn't just about budgeting and investing. It's about managing your money wisely. Knowing where your money is going, what your subscriptions are directly or indirectly supporting is important to understanding the full picture of your finances. I am your host, Lindsay, affectionately known as Miss Black. In this episode, we break down the technology that is reshaping how we learn, how we think, and how we engage with the world around us. And that last piece of the world around us, yeah, that's where we're going to channel our focus today. But before we get to that, I need to take a moment, just a quick moment, to acknowledge a couple goals we are manifesting for the Education Evolution podcast. We are saying things out loud in 2026. No matter how big or how scary the goal is, we must channel our focus on the desired outcome to make the most room for opportunities in alignment with that goal. So I'm going to come out and just say it. We are going to hit 500 YouTube subscribers, okay, by the end of the month. Yeah, we are. And that will bring us one step closer to our bigger goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Yeah, kind of big, kind of scary, but we're going to do it. So if you've been enjoying these conversations, one of the easiest ways to support us is to subscribe and share an episode with someone who might benefit from it. All right? All right. Now, let's get into the episode. Remember I said we was going to talk about technology and specifically how it allows us to engage with the world around us? Well, we are going to focus on a familiar friend turned foe for most people. And by most people, I mean at least 2.5 million people. As of today, 2.5 million people have either left or have made a pledge to leave ChatGPT. The primary driver of this exodus is a recent deal between OpenAI and the US Department of Defense or War. Users are concerned that OpenAI's technology will be used for lethal applications such as autonomous weapon systems, killer robots, and drone swarms. There are widespread fears that OpenAI models will facilitate mass surveillance by government agencies like ICE or the NSA. The controversy was actually sparked when OpenAI's rival, Anthropic, refused similar Pentagon demands, citing ethical concerns regarding surveillance and human oversight of force. OpenAI subsequently stepped in to fill the void, leading critics to accuse the company of abandoning its founding principles of safety and transparency. CEO Sam Altman has acknowledged that the announcement was rushed and sloppy. In response to the backlash, OpenAI updated its agreement with the Department of Defense to explicitly prohibit domestic mass surveillance. However, many critics remain skeptical, noting that the agreement still allows for any lawful use, which could potentially include combat and foreign surveillance. Now, you do with that information as you will. Personally, I will never understand companies that act confused about how the general public might respond to their very public moves and support for war. Like, there's literally rules for this sort of thing. Like, why would you ever be able to name your own rollout as rushed and sloppy in these times? Be so serious. Anyways, y'all may have seen or heard, or maybe you're participating in the Quit GPT movement, where people are canceling their Chat GPT subscriptions because they are being mindful of where their money is going and what it may or may not be funding. So today, to support those making the decision to be more responsible with their coin, but still interested in using AI, I'm sharing a short list of three alternatives. This is by no way an extensive list. So, my suggestion is to use this list as a starting point as you transition from ChatGPT. Okay, let's talk about the options. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. Hell, you can listen to this entire episode and be like, to hell with AI altogether. Do your thing, boo. I'm just providing a super high level overview of three generative AI tools as a starting place for you, but there's so many more. Let's start with Claude by Anthropic. Claude is known for being strong in writing and long form content. So it's more context aware in the conversations you're having with it. And it's often preferred for thoughtful, nuanced responses. So if you are someone who writes a lot, you think a lot, you process ideas really deeply, I am describing myself. Claude might actually feel more natural to you. It's less quick answer and more let's think this through. Number two, Perplexity. This one, actually had a friend put me on to this one. This one is interesting. Perplexity is more like a mix between Google and AI, even though, I mean, Google actually has its own AI, which we'll get to. Perplexity gives you answers with sources attached. So instead of just trusting what the AI says, you can actually verify it, which is a big deal, especially if you care about accuracy, research, and truly staying informed. This is for the person who doesn't just want the answers, they want all of the receipts too. And this is not to say that other chats can't do this, but Perplexity was created with this in mind. So it's actually foundational to how it works and not integrated at some other iteration. There's something to be said about platforms built with that intention in mind. Then, lastly, we have Gemini by Google. Now, this one integrates heavily with Gmail, which everybody got Gmail, right? Google Docs, Google Drive. Like you can Gemini can support you in making an Excel spreadsheet or creating an equation or function for your Excel spreadsheet. So, if your life already lives inside of Google, this tool fits right into your workflow. It's less about replacing everything and more about enhancing what it is that you already use. I will say, about a year ago, I was looking into generative AI tools for myself and I did try to use Gemini, and I don't know, y'all. Gemini was, she was underbaked. She was not mature. I think she needed a little bit more machine learning to be able to align with what I needed her to do. I will say that in the last like month or so, I have seen that Gemini is way more capable of things than she was when I first started looking, because she was kind of like the dumb blonde of the group. Hate to say it. But Gemini by Google, look into it. Let's break it down even more simple. Claude, best for deep thinking and writing. Perplexity, best for research and verified answers. Gemini is best for integration and productivity. I implore you to do some exploration on your own, though. If you already have another alternative you use, share it in the comments. Spread the knowledge, spread the wealth. We're all learning and growing together when it comes to finding the appropriate fit for technology and AI in our lives. Bringing it back to financial literacy. Now, here's why this matters, because some of these tools have free versions, paid tiers, subscriptions. And if you're paying monthly for something, you should be asking yourself, when I pay for this subscription, what else am I indirectly funding? Am I actually using this to its full value? Or am I just paying for convenience or popularity for that matter? Do my values align with the written values of the company or the values demonstrated in their actions? And these questions can apply to streaming services, gym memberships, and really any other app on your phone. Because financial literacy is not just about saving money, it's about spending with intention and, dare I say, discernment. One thing I've really been thinking about lately is how easy it is to default. We default to what we know. We default to what we started with. We default to whatever feels easiest. And we are all subconsciously thinking about the cost of change and changing something and what that means, what extra added work comes with change. But growth requires that evaluation and growth requires change. Just because something works right now doesn't mean it's the best fit anymore. And it doesn't even mean that it actually works, truthfully. Something else can work better and more efficient. But we have to be willing to let go of what's familiar and try something new. And that applies to tools just like it applies to habits. So if there's one thing I need you to take from this episode, it's this: take inventory, okay? Not just of your bank account, but of your habits, your subscriptions, your tools, your patterns. Because yes, financial discipline can be hard. It can be super challenging. But small, consistent awareness is what will build that discipline over time. It's really going to strengthen that muscle because Rome wasn't built in a day. And you cannot assume that you're going to master something in a day. Baby steps, y'all. Baby steps. Thank you for joining me today. If you have not subscribed yet, do so right now. Drop the link to this episode in your group chats so that your friends know they have options, okay? You do not have to be married to ChatGPT. There are other things out there. And if you know of any other generative AI tools that you really like, drop them in the comments, man. I know some friends who are looking for image generators. Where they at? What would you suggest? Let's get this conversation going. Anyways, I'm sending y'all love and strength during this time. So take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and I will talk to you next time.